waiting for a right door. Like to see it grow. Look, I see your eyes.
Personal style, the specific features of our individual communication. What is my personal style? I would define my personal style or self-representation as being an alternative hippified, preppy girl of new fashion, diverged from a variety of different influences. I believe my personal style has had a variety of influences which often questions the value and representation I hold of myself and self-image. These influences, such as the groups I associate with, the youth culture of today, and variety of social classes I mix with, my family, and the mass culture have all made their mark on me. I know I'm a product of the youth culture of today due to my social values and what I deem to be acceptable. I know I'm the product of the groups I hang around with due to my bodily adornments and the way I dress. I know I'm the product of my social classes I associate with due to my social skills, vast vocabulary, and social manners. I know I'm a product of my family due to my family values, aspects of my personality, and my physical and biological traits. Of course, it would be naive to think that my personal style only originates from these common influences. Many aspects of myself, such as my infamous curiosity and inquisitive nature, have further developed and shaped my personal style. However, some may perceive my personal representation and bodily adornments as a code to my attitude and personality. For example, some may perceive me to be a rude and rebellious girl, whereas others may believe me to be a threat or a bad influence. In a way, this has had an effect on my self-esteem and often makes me question my value, my self-concept, and if I'm any closer to reaching my ideal self, which all have an effect on my self-presentation. Do I want to dress in a particular style, or should I alter my appearance to feel accepted by society and escape the prejudices bestowed upon me due to my lifestyle choices and exhibition of body art? Or do I ignore the opinions of others and be an individual in my appearance, style, and self-disclosure?
We like your face, we like your style. Everything about you seems so worthwhile. We like your hair, we like your nose. Everybody gonna give you one of those. The bullets for the magazines. Paparazzi shooting like soldiers in the teens. I'm just a teenage girl.
I am a blank canvas to which I decorate myself, marking significant rites of periods and rites of passage in my life. For example, my first piercing, my earlobes, represents the start of my adolescence. My ear stretchers were a form of adolescent rebellion, and my navel piercing is a feature of reaching my ideal self, and my septum represents a change or shift in my persona and personal style. Although I often change my appearance, like my hair colour, my piercings hold high value and defines who I am, as people can clearly recognise me. My ideal self is constantly evolving, much like society is. However, the only thing that ever stays permanent within my ideal self is to be the best and to strive for perfection. To achieve this perfection through my self-presentation and to conform to Antonio Gramsci's idea of hegemony, to not adapt the values and belief of my own social class, but rather to gain a basic universal understanding of what is deemed to be perfect. Alongside these cultural transmissions, I find I succumb to the functions of the mass media, often basing some of my personal ideologies on what they broadcast to be perfect, with synonyms of being the perfect body, having long skinny legs, a toned torso and prominent hip bones, and that skinny is beautiful, and to be beautiful is to achieve perfection. The mass media acts as a signifier to my youth culture. These signs may determine the way groups and subcultures think, that by dressing in a certain way and buying particular brands will help them achieve the media's perception of perfection. This, in effect, almost motivates me to conform, steering me away from individuality, making me a sheep belonging to the flock of the media's intention. As I'm aware of feeding into the media's portrayal of perfection, this has had an effect on my reflexivity, making me very aware and self-conscious, which provokes me to question who I really am. Do I want to adopt my style to suit my culture, or do I want to diverge myself from my culture and become a walking statement, clearly communicating my emotions, values, interest, and personal aspects of myself so freely through my self-representation? By taking part in this social divergence, I would be defying the norms of the mass culture and could influence others to follow me, making my own subculture of alternative hippified preppy fashion, giving me power and boosting my self-esteem. But by dressing in a certain way and not draping my body in designer brands and fabrics, does this change my status in society, pushing me out of an elite culture to more of a low culture, thus having an effect on the meanings and practices of my everyday life? For example, feeling out of place when wearing certain clothes, such as walking into a building considered being of high class, like a museum, wearing casual clothes I like, but are considered a product of low culture, and vice versa, wearing designer clothes to a casual bar. When taking these points into consideration, I often ask myself, does my personal style attract a certain group of people? Due to elements of my personal style, such as my piercings and ear stretchers, may scare others away from me and paint an intimidating impression of myself. In a sense, I often enjoy creating these false pretenses through my self-presentation to shock people and create a juxtaposition through my fatter communication and manners, as one of my core beliefs and elements of my ideal self is to be polite, well-respected and independent. So I ask you, what are you looking at? You're looking at a girl, a product of her family, influenced by society and motivated by a strong desire to achieve perfection whilst acquiring individuality.